What do you think power is? Is it a throne or a prestigious title? In my eyes, power is nothing more than a scaled-up consensus. Years ago, my uncle Liu Bi, the founder of this empire, said I had the face of a rebel. He thought I wanted his crown. He underestimated me. What I wanted was to rewrite the base code of the entire empire. While the bureaucrats in Chang'an were still debating how to collect taxes, I was already running a massive growth hacking campaign in my kingdom of Wu. I controlled the copper mines and the sea salt, the ancient equivalents of energy and data. I tokenized these assets, minting the highest purity Wu coins. I declared Wu a tax-free zone. You think that was charity? No, it was an airdrop. I wanted the world's traffic. This is exactly what we call a platform strategy today, just like PayPal or Meituan. Subsidize the users, earn cash to capture the market. When every merchant, peasant, and even the Imperial guards in Chang'an had their pockets filled with my coins, they became dependent on my payment protocol. The laws of the Han Dynasty had already collapsed before me. My coins became the world's stablecoin. When your wealth grows large enough to challenge the mainnet of the system, you start to feel like a god. You think you are too big to fail. But I forgot one thing. The admin always keeps a finger on the force format button. If you want to see how I, the most powerful market maker of the ancient world, marched toward a total wipeout due to over-leveraging, make sure to like this video and subscribe to my channel. Because before the margin call hits, everyone thinks they are gone. In the next part, I'll show you how the regulators in Chang'an used a single piece of paper to force me into an all-in counterattack. The regulators finally made their move. Chauko proposed the reduction of feudatories out of this. On the surface, they were taking land. In reality, they were forcing me into quantitative tightening. They saw my scale was too massive. They feared my local platform would eventually swallow their central system. This happens every day in modern business. We call it a regulatory squeeze. Think of the antitrust crackdowns on tech giants or the sudden securitization labels on crypto exchanges. It's not competition, it's a forced quit of your entire process. In the face of destructive regulation, most people would cut their losses, but I am a dealer. Surrender isn't in my dictionary. I decided to exploit regulatory arbitrage. I contacted 6 other vassal kings who were also threatened by the crackdown. I told them, instead of waiting to be formatted one by one, let's form a consortium and launch a hostile takeover. My logic was simple. I provide the capital, you provide the computing power, the armies. I leveraged the liquidity I had built over decades to fund a war of unprecedented scale. This was a classic leverage buyout tell people. I put every asset I owned into this gamble. The leverage ratio was so high, it even terrified me. I believe that if our Seven Kingdom alliance was large enough to threaten the system's core code, Chang'an would be forced to surrender or restructure the debt. I overlooked the most brutal truth in the game. When you challenge the rule maker, you aren't just competing, you are threatening their right to exist. If you are an entrepreneur, remember this: never assume you are too big to fail. In the next part, I'll show you how the massive traffic of my 300,000 man army turned into suffocating dead overnight. An army of 300,000 men, a sea of banners. At that moment, I thought I had already won, but I met the greatest opponent of my life, Zhou Yafu. He wasn't just a general, he was a cold-blooded risk manager. Zhou Yafu did something that broke me. He refused to engage. He shrunk his defense to the core nodes and abandoned all subsidiary projects. In business, this is the starve the beast strategy. Every day I stood still. My burn rate was astronomical. 300,000 mouths to feed, horses to graze. My supply chain stretched for hundreds of miles. Zhou Yafu sent a light cavalry unit to burn my supply depots. That single strike cut off my cash flow. At that moment, I was exactly like Lehman Brothers in 2008. On paper, I had billions in assets, my army. In reality, I didn't even have the cash to pay for the next second of operations. Once the market, the battlefield, realized the dealer was out of cash, the trust protocol collapsed instantly. The kings who leveraged up with me saw the margin call coming and chose to liquidate their positions by retreating immediately. This is a liquidity crunch. The larger the scale, the faster the collapse. My proud army of 300,000 men turned from an asset into bad debt overnight, eventually consuming the dealer. The final liquidation came fast. I fled to Dongyue thinking I had a backup server. Instead, the leaders there accepted an acquisition offer from Chang'an and force-closed my life in a simple military tent. I died clutching a coin I had minted. How ironic. I spent a lifetime minting money, yet I couldn't buy my own life in the end. I lost the gamble, but I left behind a priceless error log. If you're still playing with high leverage in the market today, remember these 3 lessons from Liu Bi. First, never challenge the admin's final right of interpretation. You can make money within a platform but never try to override the platform-based protocol. Second, cash flow is your lifeline. Asset size is a vanity metric. Liquidity is the key to survival. Third, leverage amplifies mediocrity and accelerates destruction. Only when the tide goes out will you discover who can swim naked. I, Liu Bi, was the one left exposed in the most humiliating way. My story ends here, but the human algorithm of greed runs in the background forever. If you learned something today, remember to like, subscribe, and share this with your friends. I am the observer of the Eastern algorithm. In the next episode, we'll look at another system crash. Xiang Yu, the arrogant architect who ignored system logic. Hey, you still there? Do you think I was a fool taking on the admin with that much leverage? Actually, you and I are exactly the same. When you see those zeros stacking up in your account every day and people losing their minds over your name, your brain starts secreting a poison called dopamine. You stop thinking you're playing the game. You start believing you are the game. In this world, the greatest danger isn't being broke. It's the delusion that because you've mastered the rhythm of wealth, you've mastered destiny. Back then, I lost an army of 300,000. Today, you might just be losing a few index futures, but fundamentally, we've both been formatted by our own greed. In the next episode, I'll take you to see another madman, Xiang Yu. He didn't play with money, he played with lives. He thought his raw computing power could smash through the entire system. The result? Remember to like before you leave. I am Liu Bi.